Rick Carr, Rockstar fan. He has been an amazing asset to any brokerage he's been to, as a friend and a collaborator. The one thing that we all like to say now with the industry the way it is, especially in Texas, our rules are constantly changing. Our forms are constantly changing. So it's like we'll pick up these brokers. We're forming an alliance and we're picking up the phone and calling each other. We're saying, "Hey, this just happened. Am I reading the form correctly?" Because the forms are easy to comprehend, but it's like I looked at a farm and ranch form today for an agent and she goes, "Do you know it says in three different spots about our commission? Well, which one should we use in this circumstance? Do we use one or all or two or none?" Or so it's amazing to have open-minded people in our industry that say we're all independent contractors, at least in Texas, and leaning on each other and the people who are of a higher caliber, higher standard, higher educated, the ones that plug in to constantly learning and being finger on the pulse is amazing. I watched Rick teach a version of this class years ago, and it blew my mind because agents want to be able to walk away with the information. They're tired of well, after we're done with this class, spend 19.99 to like really learn how to do it, and to be able to open that up to other brokerages and really just share knowledge to make our industry better is something I love about Rick. He has a long history, like he said before, running massive brokerages in multiple industries, whether it be franchise versus cloud base, versus mom and pop. All those business plans matter. And so I'm very excited to have him. And, you can look him up on LinkedIn. He's got a Rolodex and a rap sheet a mile long. So that is my intro for Rick Carr, the rock star. And I'm super excited because I'm actually looking to rebuild my plan and my vision with all the changes coming in 2026.
Well, well, thank you. If I could just stop there, we're done. I mean, mic drop, we're out, right? Business plan, do it, and we're finished. My goodness, I appreciate all the kind words. Sandy Lynn, I'm a fan. We had an opportunity to talk a while back, and I think you guys are doing great things. And it's you're going to be one of those people, one of those brokerages that I'm able to say I knew them when, because you're blowing up. And I think when you believe in, as a salesperson, when you believe in your product, you sell it naturally. And I feel that way with you and your company. When you believe in what you're doing, there's really not a sale. Lindsay, thank you so much. I've been around a little while. Um, Business planning, I was a top agent by the end of my second year. I say that I'm fluent in prima donna. I speak it. I've been the new baby agent. I've been the one that thinks the brokerage couldn't make it without me. And I'm definitely not bragging about that. But, so I sold my first 12 years, and for the last 18, I've been in brokerage and management. And it's been a pretty cool ride. I was talking to an agent today. She's been in the business 10 years, and she's in a funk. She's about to go sell some cosmetics for Neiman Marcus, and she wants just a little bit of downtime. And what I told her is the cool thing about real estate is it'll be right there. I mean, it sounds tacky and corny, but it's your friend. It's never leaving you. We have ups and downs in this life. In a 30-year career, I have quite a few ups and downs. One of my favorite pastors said, if you're not, you're either going into or coming out of something. And I think that there's truth in that. Real life happens in our business. Surround yourself with people. Sometimes when people get the funk or they get a little down, for me as a broker, I just see that I need to remind you who you are. This agent today that's going to go sell cosmetics, she's in the top 5% of my agent population in production. I needed today to remind her who she was. And that's vital. And sometimes we need to do that ourselves, right? The old Stuart Smalley Saturday Night Live, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Those affirmations. I'm a Larry Kendall fan, ninja selling. incredible program. And there's a lot there to take, but balance is important. And so Larry talks about increasing your dollar per hour. And I think that's important. It's not about, I'm just going to do 100 million next year, and I'm going to do 175 that next. It's about balance. And I think that's what part of your plan will be. When I sold, I hate to be a buzzkill, but not really. But when I sold, I didn't business plan. I took everything that was there, I grabbed it, and I ran a very high octane pace. And monetarily, I was rewarded for it. Real estate business was just through the roof. But the other things like being a parent, a husband, father, those things, all took a second seat, religion or whatever it is. And it was a distant second at best. And but my mark was about 10 years when I hit a wall. And by 12, I was done. And so I think an important part of your business plan is to incorporate the things that really matter, your legacy, the things that bring you joy, right? And hopefully you can make a living at the same time. It's what I talked to that agent about. Good thing is you're not driving 50 miles to the office and spending 50 hours in a cubicle. I mean, our business is out in the field, so it gets real exciting. Well, let me get into this. So business planning is crucial. It's important. It's not always, as I said, about doing more volume. It's about your plan for your life, right? And incorporating that into it. Let's just get into it. You know, what I want to accomplish today is, let me switch screens here, is I want to, talk about a plan, demonstrate this agent today. Again, I'm kind of spoiling here, but this agent today, I said, your business is this huge boulder. And when you're first starting in the business, you're kind of leaning on that boulder. Hopefully you are, or you might just be standing there with your hands on your hips, wondering where I go. But you're leaning on that boulder and you're moving it forward ever so slightly, and you're gaining, and you start to gain some momentum. And mo is a thing in real estate, momentum. You get that thing working. Somebody comes to me and they say, I'm thinking about getting out of the business. And I start talking to them about it, and I start drilling down. Okay, well, let's talk about real estate. What did you do today, real estate related? Well, I mean, nothing today. Okay, let's scale it back. What'd you do this week? What'd you do for a week? Well, and that's what I hear, right? And the point I'm trying to make is you got to work. When I got in this business at 25, I say it wasn't that failure wasn't an option. It wasn't a consideration. It's not that I'm all that. I just didn't even consider failure. I just worked and I showed up, and amazing things happened. I wasn't the best, the smartest, or the fastest, but I just worked. I was right fresh out of the military, the Army, and amazing things happen when you work. So I think the important thing is, and I told this age today, go business plan, do this, sit through my class here. I'm going to do some other things. And I said, but you know what? If when you go home, you sit down and you pull that business plan template out, and it's just kind of like a mountain staring you in the face, throw that thing aside, throw it on the table. Who cares? Let's go back to your daily activities then. Let's just boil it down to daily activity, because that's where you're going to go after you plan. This is where I want to be, and this is how I get there. So sometimes we just need that accountability, and we need something to keep us on track. So my goal and my hope today is that you understand the importance of having a business plan. We're going to discuss the 7 components. I'm going to show you some resources. And here's the thing. I've been teaching business planning to this brokerage since August. I mean, for a while we were teaching business planning. Believe it or not, I hate to say it, in January. And it's coming in my 31st year, 2026. And then we got smart and started doing it last month of the fourth quarter, December. And I mean, that's passe. That's old school. You should be business planning end of Q3, beginning of Q4. And also, I don't want to wait for somebody to have to business plan that joins my brokerage in July. So I try to teach this segment throughout the year, but it's crucial and it's important to keep you on track. You'll have a lot of flashing lights and people telling you for $199 a month, we'll give you this and we'll do that for you and these other things. That might be part of your plan. That's cool. But it shouldn't be your whole plan. I mean, unless you're banking there, and then by all means, build your plan around it. Um, uh, so as we get into this, look, hey, here's just a written, and by the way, none of this is Chat GPT. For better or worse, I can spot Chat GPT a mile away. And
Amen.
let me tell you something. Get everybody's using it. You may not use AI or Chat GPT, but you'll use it for a property description. And it's kind of like, blaze a new trail. Start to incorporate something different into your marketing. But one of the gurus in AI that Lindsay knows and knows personally is Phil Stringer. And Phil Stringer says, you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by somebody who's using it. So part of your plan should be things simple, like I'm going to learn a new system. My brokerage offers me this system. I'm going to learn one system a week. I'm going to master it. I'm going to spend 3 or 4 hours training videos. I'm going to master this system and move on. Bite-sized pieces. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So as we talk about this, this is kind of a two-tier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tee it up for your brokers. I'm going to give you the business plan template. I'm going to give you an activity sheet. I'm going to show you the math, and don't let your eyes glaze over math in real estate. We can all calculate commissions, but not a lot of us were mathletes in school. We can sell ice to Eskimos, and not a lot of us are analyticals. But I'm going to show you the math, a really simple formula on how to get there. And I'm going to tee it up for your broker. And what I mean by that is now it's on you to go gather your information. To go get, what were my last year's numbers? Well, hold on, Rick, I'm new. Fantastic, wonderful. What's the average purchase price in your respective markets? What's your average sales price there? Look, here in Fort Worth, it's 480,000. In Dallas, it's 510,000. Whatever you're charging, whatever you're earning, you calculate that, and that's going to be your average compensation. We'll say, some people don't like to say commission. I'm trying to retrain myself, but we're going to focus on compensation today. And because we're with different brokerages, we won't throw any figures out. We'll keep all those to ourselves. We're not going to be doing something we shouldn't be doing. So again, my hope here is just that you see the value in it. You do it. I'm going to go over the process today. Then you're going to go back, get your numbers, put it all together, and you're going to take it to your broker. And you're going to say, here's what I want to do for the year. Now, when I teach this class, I might have maybe 30%, and that might even be a little bit of a stretch of people that come back to me with their plan. That's okay. I don't think any less of you. You can lead a horse to water, right? That's okay. Maybe you might not see the value this year, but maybe in 4 years, or when you're a broker, you see, wow, if I could go back and do some things differently, to budget in time for myself, to budget in balance and things into my business plan. So I believe that it'll hit you when it's supposed to. Part of what we talk about in this business is a shift, right? What goes up must come down. And, people say, well, what's going on in your market? Tough market. Yeah, tough time. Dude, I've been around 30 plus years, not forever, but long enough to see, hey, this is what happens in real estate. Here's a tide, if you will. It comes in, it goes out. I think sometimes we get too many people licensed in this business. The licensing entities make it easy. The association says, come on. The schools get in there. Everybody gets a piece of the action in you becoming a licensee. But whether or not you make money, I used to teach real estate school. The real test here isn't whether you can pass your test. The real test is, can you make money out in the field? I tell people, if you're looking for a reason for your business to be down, you'll find one. Don't look. Sometimes the people I have the most difficult time getting out of the starting blocks are the most intelligent. And I'll say, dude, go, let's take an IQ test. You're like way up here. I'm down here. How did I make it? Well, sometimes, and I wouldn't post this to social media, but sometimes you got to dumb it up. Sometimes you're too much in your head. Sometimes you just got to get your butt out there and go and do. Do's the most important thing that I can tell you. Do something. Ninja, you don't have to do everything. Do something, right? So as we look at the market shift and things like it, I think we're in for, and I'm in the middle of a brisk fall season. There is a seasonality to this business, but I used to tell people I don't quit eating for 3 months out of the year. Somebody's selling, somebody's buying. I like those numbers. I like those odds. Chances of you getting a household without it being on the market or telling people that it's there, slim to none. So already we get that. Get those people off the fence that are waiting to spring. Yeah, you and everybody else are waiting to your spring, waiting for spring. Probably your neighbor down the road is waiting for the spring too. Let's get out there now or wait for spring. Let's get out there now and make things happen. What goes up must come down. It's not a matter of if and when. What I'm seeing is that the agents that are working are earning, and those that aren't. It's really cool. I've seen this dynamic of my top performers, sometimes, not all of them, kind of starting to lose pace, kind of starting to lose traction, coming on down in their numbers. And I'm seeing this 2-year agent come in and doing this number. Why are we seeing this? I don't know, because this one's lamenting about what was and how things and the business is bad and whatever. And this one doesn't know any better. You know, sometimes I'll ask somebody, you came into the real estate now? What's wrong with you? I mean, you should have jumped in 4 or 5 years ago. No, you know, I like to have fun with people, but fact of the matter is they don't know any better. Nobody's told them it's a tough business. Nobody's told them it's a down market. They're just showing up and they're working. And so what we're going to get to here in the question I have for you is, what task are you doing right now that are preparing you for this upcoming market? What I'm telling my agents down here in Dallas is prepare for rain, brother. Prepare for rain. You should be out there tilling your field right now, planting, fertilizing, watering, preparing for rain. An agent told me when I was doing the business, she said, honey, listings are the name. It's back when you could call people honey. She said, listings are the name of the game. I'm dealing with an agent. I saw her in the office today. She just took a listing. I mean, it's almost like it's scripted for a movie. She took a listing in office and going out to take another one. 5 months ago when I met with her, this was her. I mean, her body language was like this. I mean, she was in there telling me about this tough market she had had and buyers. I'm talking to her about listings. Why I don't really take listings. Why not? Well, I've been more of a buyer agent. Well, hey, be whatever agent you want that equals money in your pocket. But if you're not out there controlling the inventory, you're going to have these months where you're doing this, what we do when we all get in. You start controlling some inventory and you start leveling out, and you don't have the high highs and the low lows. 20 buyers go to look at one property, that listing agent is going to get half that sale regardless. Only one of those buyers is going to buy that home and or be successful in getting it. And 19 people didn't get paid in that transaction, or 18 didn't. Maybe I double-sided myself. So if you're not a listing agent, what I see is with that agent, it was confidence. She needed to be reminded of who she was. She needed to be reminded of the skill set that she brings to the table. And it's a very proud broker moment. It's like a parent with kid on training wheels when you see them make that click. I've got a 5.5-year-old, don't judge. And sometimes he's spinning. I'm like, dude, you can choose how to receive this, and you can choose the state of mind that you're going to be in, and you can choose to have a good attitude. This kid will change his whole demeanor and mindset in about 5 minutes, if even that long. And it blows me away to see where he is just able to do that. So mindset is a huge part. Keller Williams Bold, Ninja Selling, on and on and on. I went to Ninja Selling, a four-day installation of Ninja Selling, and one full day was on mindset. A full day was on mindset and how you gain that positive mindset. I was talking to an agent today, and she said, I said, well, I'm glad you're not in here telling me you have a mortgage to pay next month. She has another job, and you don't know how you're going to make it. I said, desperation is a killer. She said, it repels. I said, absolutely, it repels. Energy is a thing too. So good energy, good mindset as you're preparing for this shift in the market. And for my agents, it's getting listings. So be ahead of the shift, develop good habits. And you know what? It's funny when I have somebody attend a training session, or they go coach, and they come back and they say, you know, that ninja stuff, it's the same thing that Buffini's doing. And it's the same thing that, Ferry is doing. Or I hear these, yeah, there are a lot of similarities. And I'm thinking, and I might even say, you don't say. Why? It's all the same stuff. well, I've got a fancier script and I've got a little niche here and I've got this, but it's the same stuff. It's tried and true. And that's what I mean by go back to the basics. Yeah, you've got this here. This is all foam, no beer. It's just, what is a plan, right? It's something that schedules you, that has you sit down and take the resources to decide where you want to be and where you want to go. Hey guys, if your plan is going off the rails and not in a good way, and things are falling apart, pivot. Don't just set that plan on the corner of your desk. Pick it up, look at it, evaluate it. It's no pain, no gain. You've got to do some work in this process. And don't tell me you don't like something before you try it. You're an independent contractor. If you don't want to do an open house, I get it. Cool. You know how many deals I did off open houses? Zero. Zero. But I will never speak limiting words over an agent by saying, Sandy Lynn, I've done nothing off open houses. You're not going to do anything. I'll have an agent sitting right next to me that's doing 40 units a year off of open houses. How did they get there? It's a no thank you helping. Try it, be consistent, do it for 3-4 months before you decide you don't like it. I used to put food on the table in front of my daughter and she'd say, I don't like it. I said, what do you mean you hadn't tried it? She said, it doesn't look good. I'm like, food's meant to be eaten, not looked at. And I know there'll be some foodies out there that disagree with me. But the whole point was you can't tell me you don't like it before you try it. Hey, if you're just absolute, I don't want to do that, fine. You've got other things, but do something. I want to talk to you about the 7 components of a business plan. We've got mission statement, your SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, specific goals, strategic planning, time frame, target audience, systems, and processes. Okay, these are the 7 components of a business plan, right? There are other ways to get there. You've got to start off with your mission statement. If you haven't been told yet, you are a small business. Tony Robbins hired his first assistant when he was 19. And he had his first assistant for a couple hours a week. I say you don't have to be the social media master. You can get there. There's enough training and resources out there to get you there without really paying next to nothing or nothing and just investing some time. Or with one hire, I can be a social media master before the end of the day. I hire a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old to come in. So look at your big plan, decide what you want to be doing, and then look at these opportunities to grow and understand you don't have to be a pro at everything. But as we talk about mission statements, it's basically this: what do you do? How do you do it? And the important one is why. Here's some mission statements I dropped in. You may have seen a few of these companies here. Hey, it's not an elevator pitch. It's a mission statement. And a mission statement is short, concise, to the point. Tesla's mission: accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. What are you doing and how are you doing it? And how do you separate yourself from the pack? Every one of you here does something better than me, probably quite a few things better than me. I tell people, if you want to catch up with me on the experience train, you're either ahead of me or if you're not. And if you're behind, you got to wait for me to die or retire to catch me. But I'm telling you, what about market data? You're right there with me. You've got the same data to look at. You've got the same resources to go to. I like to run a race that I know I can win. And so we'll talk more about that as we go through here. You're cutting yourself short if you're not running a SWOT analysis. SWOT in the military, we love our acronyms. That's strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What's my unique selling point? What do I do better than Rick? Why have customers? Why have I not closed these customers? I want your thoughts and your brain power not to be self-defeating, but I want you to learn. Conversations that I have, listing presentations, buyer presentations, what went good, I'm thinking in my head, and what didn't. What would I say differently next time? Again, not to the point that it's self-defeating, but what can I learn from these interactions? And that's what made me good in this business, was always looking for ways to get better. Which markets are underserved in your territory? In Texas, 27% of home buyers were active or military or veterans. I'm a little slow in math. I think that's 1 in 4. Wow. I don't have to have been a veteran. I don't have to have been in the military to have a heart for military people, but there are military designations you can earn, national designations, there's state designation you can earn. Those are things you need to know, right? Which markets are underserved in your territory? And what do our competitors do better than us? That's a tough one to answer sometimes. But what do they do better than us? So that's kind of what I talked about here. What do you do well? Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's a good chat. Weaknesses. Where do we lack? What do my competitors do better? Resources. What do you have an unclear, unique selling proposition? We've always had to know our value. When the NAR settlement came through, there were a shudder through the business. Buyers are going to have to compensate their agents directly. And how in the heck or why in the heck are they going to do that? Well, if you're asking yourself that question, then the next thing you need to go to is understand what you bring to the table. NAR says something like 179 things we do as a buyer agent. I mean, they're counting, get a paper clip out and put it on a file. I mean, they're doing some crazy stuff. I'm gonna let them have it. But what do I bring to the table? How about your fiduciary obligation? When I'm your agent, I'm placing you above everybody else in this transaction, to include myself. And that's the one for me. That's the one that I stick on. Dude, I'm putting you before everybody else in this transaction. Your best interest. That's all part of the fiduciary obligation. Now, threats, emerging competitors. What I'd say that your brokerage now is in that state. You're coming on, and people are looking at what you have to offer. And I think it's an exciting time for anybody right now, especially you and your brokerage. Changing regulatory environment. Those are things that we need to know and we need to understand. But I was teaching a national segment the other day, and I had an agent talk about objections at an open house. And he wanted to know what to say in this case, and in this case, and in this case. And I said, dude, I love where your mind is, but at some point, get your ass out there and go hold the house open. Don't sit here and try to have every answer before you ever step out of the gate. Sometimes we have to just get out and do. Specific goals, there's a mindset with goals, and another acronym for you here, SMART goals. It was established by Drucker. And the acronym SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Have a specific goal, understand exactly what you're looking for, a way that you can measure it. Have it be achievable. There are a couple lines of thought, probably more than a couple. And one of them is, I'm going to set my goals so high that even if I fall short, I'm still succeeding. Okay, cool. If that motivates you and that works for you, do it. There's not one way. My way isn't the best way or the only way. For me, I want wins along the way. I don't want to wait for a year to be able to celebrate. I want wins. Hey, I got 10 people in my CRM this week. That's a win. I got 3 expired appointments with expired listings. I didn't get any listings, but I got 3 appointments. If you're in that boat, go talk to your broker. For me, I say, if you're getting appointments with expired listings, you should probably get that listing about half the time. I would think that's the hardest thing, is to get in touch with them. Next hardest thing is to get your foot in the door and then actually get out there and make the presentation. So as we formulate our goals, and there's some really cool stuff with goals coming out. We all know they're good. We all know we should have them. You should have them in writing. But I think it's very important to include that maybe in your daily affirmations. Maybe part of your goal is to work on mindset. And I think a lot flows from that. Like the agent I said that came in that looked like somebody kicked her dog. She was just in a tough spot. And when you see her now, she's like levitating. She's like a foot off the ground everywhere she goes. And people are just drawn to that, right? Law of attraction. Keep your goals relevant to what you're doing and then set a time date for it. It's probably going to be a year, but I'd probably break it in quarters if I were you, or maybe months to see when I'm on track, when I'm losing pace. Um, of course, you need your strategic plan. Determine what strategies you'll use to achieve your goals. Your business plan should evolve as your business and abilities grow. Absolutely. If you're having some success and you find your niche, right? You find your place, you find your home, you are the expired king, you are the for sale by owner queen, then that's cool. Start to pivot, adjust your fire a little bit. Let's focus everything right here in this one area that I'm having a lot of. So I'm not going to not do other things, but look, if my return is greater here, and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that midway through Q2, then start to focus and burn some energy there. Good things happen. Create a plan of action. Eliminate bad habits. Avoid procrastination. I was listening to this guy the other day from the 80s, and he's talking about procrastination. And one of his methods to beat that is to get up and 10 times in the morning, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. It's kind of silly, but what you're doing is you're activating your subconscious, and just really exciting things happen. Tap into the power of your mind, but eliminate those bad habits. How do we do that? Have some accountability. I'm a old Army guy. I used to knock out. I used to max out my PT test with push-ups. I think it was 62, and and now I'm a little bit off that pace. But what am I doing? I know I need to do push-ups. I know I need to do this. Well, I have a lender buddy. He said, dude, let's start doing push-ups together. And in the morning, or I mean, it might be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he sends me a word, done, you know, got 30 today, whatever it is. And, I'm sitting here at 10:30 at night realizing I haven't sent him the text saying I got mine done. And what am I doing? I'm already in bed. I'm probably in bed with my laptop. But I set my lap down. I get out of bed at 10:30 at night and I knock out my push-up so I can send it back to him done. There's something about that accountability that carries you far. And I'm seeing in this industry now, there's a tendency for us to isolate. It's technology. It's the way our models are moving. Not everybody comes into the office anymore. So that accountability, I think, is going to be crucial. So have yourselves a battle buddy. Have yourself somebody that gets you off your butt and out of bed, so that you can go in and do what you were supposed to do. Yes, ma'am. Lindsay.
It's so funny you were talking about procrastination because that's me. Like that's been me since I can remember. And even people would say, like, man, you're a procrastinator, but you always win when you procrastinate. And I found out later on in life when we have therapists and we get older, that the pressure and the anxiety of the procrastination levitated my performance. And so like it gave me like this high to where like I would like be inspired. And I actually the shorter I had to complete the task, to where like I could fail, like that was when I was at my peak performance. It's because that pressure, you know, and it was like I needed the environment to give me that pressure. So it's so funny that you talk about procrastination because I was taught by someone who caught this in me in sales. And he goes, have you ever read the book Eat That Frog? And basically, it's like you eat the frog first. You don't want to eat the frog, but you have to. And the joke for me was, I always say rip off the band-aid. And that's what you're doing. Like you said, do your push-ups like bright and early in the morning. And it's like if it pops in your mind, do it right that second. And I've been through my life and I'm still bad at it, but if I think of it and I have to do it and it's on the list, I actually vert it to the front and I stop what I'm doing and I do it right then. So it's so funny you said that because that resonates with me on a very high level.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah, do it now. Try that. Do it now. Do it now. One touch. is another one. 15 Successful Habits of Successful People is a really good book. And he talks about one touch and being efficient. And I've incorporated that into just about everything. You go out, you check the mail, you bring it in, you look at it, you see some stuff, you set it on the corner. And then you come back around, you move it over to the table at some point. Then you start going through some bills and you start throwing out some of the junk mail, and you come in and you sort this, and you get, hey, he's sorting his mail on his way in from the mailbox. He's one touching that. He brings it in, he gets it, he does this. It's just a matter of being efficient. Can I read this email? Can I one touch it now and be done with it and move on? But it's a really cool book. I was going to try to, I'll see if I can find it here. But it really leveled my game up. And then manage your time, right? You've got a whole host of literature and other tools to help you manage your time. Be mindful of that. At some point, some days we work all day and we run ourselves ragged, and I'm sorry, I've got an Indian, they're restless out trying to get in the door. They're like, Dad, my son tells me the other day, Dad, when I'm like you, when I'm big like you, I'm going to work. And he's doing this like he's typing on the keyboard. I'm like, no, please. Spending a lot of time in front of him. Hi, baby. Okay. Yay. Absolutely. Okay. That's what it's about, right? But manage your time. That's going to be beneficial. You may, if your time's getting away from you, start to block out and get a journal and just write in what you're doing. It seems trivial, but you'll find out where your time's going. And you'll find that, on days that I don't manage my time, that I let my day dictate what I'm doing, I work my tail off. But at the end of the day, I wonder what I accomplished.
Make a Slack channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Atta girl, Lindsay.
You made me a believer, Sandy. You made me a believer.
I love it. Time frame. You got to have a time frame, right? It's got to make sense to you. I recommend, again, that you don't bail it out for a year, that you portion it into quarters or maybe even 30-day segments where you're able to come in and look at it. There's something really cool when you get to the end of your year, into that session, and you've hit your goals, and you need to celebrate and have some wins along the way. But time frame, I mean, it's got to have a start and an end date. Part of what I'm telling my agents is come 01/01/26, your tail should be already going 75 miles an hour, merging on that highway that's 2026. You shouldn't be at a dead stop. I'm telling my agents, you got 45 days left of this year. What are you doing to make your January successful? Right? Don't wait to January to kick it in. Do it now. And that excites me because I feel like I've got a little bit of a head start, right? We're business planning for 2026. Dude, you still got a month and a half. Now, nobody buys over the holidays. Well, what I found is that agents don't always work over the holidays. Is somebody's not buying or selling, or are they not working? And I'm all for taking time and balance and time with family. But you can't say also that the business is slow when you haven't worked for 4 weeks out of an 8-week period, right? And if you're going to do that, that's good. But have a set a start and an end date on that. Now, your target audience, I don't have this anymore. They killed the document. Define who your target audience is and your market to help you refine your strategies. When I came into the business, I came in at 25 years old, and I thought that I'm too young. I'm looking at these guys next to me, and they're killing it in the market. They've got polyester pants, and Google it if you don't know what polyester is, up to their navels, and a button down with a pocket and pins in it. And I'm thinking, I'm doing it wrong. I need a pair of polyester pants. That was true for as long as I let it be true, as long as I accepted that. As soon as I discarded that limiting kind of belief or thoughts, I wasn't too young anymore. People started buying and selling. But so as you look at your target audience, my daughter, we've started a team here, and she's really the one that runs it. And I'm not really even the pretty face. I don't know what I am, but she's doing great things with it. And she's got 26,000 Facebook followers and 12,000 Instagram followers. And, so she's leveraging that. She knows where her base is and she's seeing traction and she's having that come around. But who's your base? Who is your audience? Look at your current customer base, right? If you have some business, I want to speak to the new agents because you won't always have that track record. But man, if you've got 7 years in the business, you have a track record. You know what your numbers are. You know who your current base is. Where are you getting your business? Um, and focus your energies there. Check out your competition. And we used to have this thing. It was called, print advertising, print marketing, right? It's still there. It's not dead. It's alive. I mean, Luke Acree doing some killer things at Reminder Media with it. And so when I would travel out of town, Colorado, Florida, wherever, California, I'm always looking at what my competition was doing. I'm always super interested. If you send me a recruiting email as a designated broker, I'm going to take time. I'm going to read that. I want to see what you're sending to my agents. I want to know what you're doing. I'm not doing that from a territorial aspect, like these are my people. I mean, come on, man. But I want to know what you're doing. What are you doing well? What's your hook? Do you even have a hook? Right? My recruiters, I have these recruiters at this company and they recruit. I don't have to recruit. And they're sending out all these things. And I said, hey, this company and this brokerage and these numbers and all the other stuff, that's great, wonderful. But how many people are replying? Not many. I said, do me a favor. Send that email out and tell them this. I think you'd be a great fit for my brokerage. End of story, period. Save the fluff. Dude, the response rate started just coming through. It just started just pouring in. And I had to stop it because I couldn't keep up with the people that were replying because they were sending it out from my email like it was me. And I said, hold on a second, we got to back up. We're already ahead now. We've got to back up and build a system and a process to this. One of the most influential brokers I worked for door knocked. And when he door knocked, he'd leave a card on your door with 2 words. Call me. That's it. Call me. What does that mean? You got somebody who wants to buy my house. You got a encroachment in my fence. I mean, what does that even mean? Call me. I'm going to see what this guy wants. And he built a very successful company. But that was one thing that Mike Bowman did, was 2 words. So as you're discovering who your target audience is, you got to have a hook. Where's your hook? My daughter wrote this really cool flyer and brochure and it said all this stuff. And I'm like, babe, where's the hook? I see that's all great stuff, but is there a call to action? What makes me pick that phone up and call you? Now, maybe that's not the type of advertising. Maybe it's a brand recognition. You're doing some other stuff. So I get that. Analyze your products and your services, choose specific demographics to target. Be kind of careful with that one. I mean, demographics are still out there, but you want to be mindful of fair housing. I don't care who you are or where you come from. If you have a need, I'm your guy. It doesn't matter to me. Evaluate your decision. And then what additional resources do you have? I had here Texas Home Buyer and Sellers Report. NAR generates the Texas or the profile. St. Lynn, are they still, maybe Holly, you can tell me since the settlement, they're still spitting out the NAR home and seller profiles, right?
We just went over some of them and in our latest morning session. So yep, they're still doing it.
Who's buying? They're telling you right there, your competition's not going to do it. If it was easy, we'd all be doing 50 million in production and, we'd have our own television shows. You just got to pick it up and work it, but know who your target is, know who your market is, right? As I said, in Texas, 1 in 4 are related military veterans or active duty. I like that. And then the last
first-time home buyer is 40.
It's heartbreaking, right? I've got a 33-year-old and a 29-year-old. My 33 just actually bought his mom's house, and she's a tenant in it, and he lives there too. But and he had walked in with 33% equity So that's the only reason. It's kind of a bummer, but there are systems out there. You're right. There are opportunities, and this is where you level up by networking with lenders. When I first coach somebody, the first thing I do, and they'll leave the session scratching their head, is I want you to go interview a couple title companies. I want you to go interview a couple. What do you mean interview? Ask them if they want to take you to lunch. They got them in. There's a line a mile long of people ready to take you to lunch as an agent. My father used to say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, that's a free lunch. He went in real estate. There's a lot of lenders, title companies, and other vendors. But what am I doing? I want them to create these relationships so that they surround themselves with people that are pros in their respective fields. So if you're asking me about loan terms or down payment assistance programs, I don't have to know all that, but I know somebody that does. And that's key to building up confidence, is first surrounding yourself with people that are respective professionals in respective fields. You know, systems and processes have something. People will ask, what's the best CRM out there? And what I say is whichever one you're using. It doesn't, just use one. A spreadsheet, have something out there, right? Most systems companies will have something of those sorts. So as we finish up today, there are a couple of documents I'm going to get into after this. Don't log off yet. The tail end of this is where I see the light bulbs go off above the head. So, you know, as I say, and you've heard it, I'm sure you can imagine. Just imagine a race without a finish line. When did you get there? I mean, anybody ever run? Anybody ever race? I mean, there's a finish line, right? Part of the joy, I say, is having the plan is watching that unfold in front of you, right? And you're looking at your numbers and you're like, dude, I want to do 20 units this year. And I'm at 18 going into Q4. I've still got 3 months left here. And it gets really exciting. And then have those wins and celebrate those along the way. One of my favorite pastors said, when's the best time to plant a tree? 25 years ago. That's probably the best time to have planted. When's the next best time? Now, today. So my hope is that right now you take this opportunity and you plant your tree, create your business plan system, run it by one of your brokers and say, here we go. Here's what I've got. What do you think of this? And then maybe there's an opportunity for a little bit of accountability with that broker as well. I'll do this for teams. I'll do it for brokerages. And as I said, I want to tee it up for your broker so that you come in their office Monday morning with your business plan and your numbers, and you're pumped and you're ready to go. And then you have an opportunity to keep people kind of on track. And we all need to be lifted up along the way. I was doing that today with an agent in my office, 10-year agent. As I said, you know, what I was doing was really coming alongside of her while she's out there running the race and she's tired. And I come alongside of her and I'm like, I got you, right? And now let's go. Let's do this finish line together. And that's where it gets fun and that's where it gets exciting. And that's what I have a passion for. When you're helping somebody in this business, I say I can't eat a compliment or pay my mortgage with it. But it sure does give me fuel for the fire. And I know that your brokers as well feel that way. Now, I want to show you a little bit of a template here, and I could share this with you. Let me see if it's going to open up today. I looked around and I've looked around for templates. I have another one that I'm going to send you that's not this company branded. I'll send you this one and that one too. And in real estate, just remember, we don't steal things from each other. We borrow. Okay, we just borrow. When I would go out and look at marketing in Florida and I'd had some killer ideas and bring them back to Granbury, Texas to implement, I wasn't stealing those ideas. I was borrowing them. And there's a lot of that in this. I think they call it R&D, rip off and duplicate, I think is what that stands for. But you've got a pretty cool business plan here. And part of what I like about this was start with your why. What are your 4 top reasons why you want to drive your business forward and execute this plan? What are they? They're going to be different for everyone, I'd say. Last year's production. Again, if you don't have that, then go with your market average. It's very simple and very easy. I don't think I have anybody on the channel that would on the session that would remember a guy by the name of Chef Tell for PM Magazine. He used to say, very simple, very easy. And that's what this is right here. Sometimes you got to dumb it down. Set your business goals. This is what I want to do for the year, the sales volume, or the year, the sales volume, the GCI, and the number of transactions. Hey, I'm telling you what, when I started in this business, if I sold a $150,000 house, that was a great lick. Now, there's not much you can buy for 150,000, at least in Texas.
You
The
won't
word's
even
got,
take that listing because you can't pay your MLS dues.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. But now, and here's where I talk about the strategies to generate leads. And I'm going to send you an activity planner with this too. I'm going to send it to Lindsay, Sandy Lynn, and Holly. Let them get this out to you guys. But it's a very simple process. And this is what I was telling the agent. If you sit down to look at your numbers, do your research, find out where you want to be on, and you feel this overwhelming kind of a mountain in front of you, well, you can climb it, you can stare at it, or you can go around it. And what I mean by that is don't get bogged down on this task. If you sit down with a business plan and it's just hanging over your head, how about we just go to what activities? How much do you want to earn next year? And let's look at that. Let me pull that up real quick. Are you guys seeing the commissions to deals right here now?
Yes, I can see
Yes.
it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. I want to make $200,000 this year, boss. How do I get there? Well, let's take a look at your average commission. Let's just say your average commission is $10,000. Again, you know what your average commission is. You've been in the business 5 years, 3 years, you know what your average commission is. If you haven't been in, but you haven't sold for 3 years, you're brand new, go with your average, lower it a little bit. That's what I did. Our average sales price in Dallas is over $500,000. Let's say I want to earn the $200,000. My average commission is 10 grand. That tells me I need to get in front, or I need to have 20 deals. Make 200,000. Of course, the IRS and everybody else will have their hand out along the way. But 200,000 bucks, and my average commission is 10 grand. That's 20 deals. Now let's talk conversion rates. Conversion rates, historically, NAR's numbers, single digits. But where are you going to get your business? If that's sphere, maybe that's higher. If that's referral, at one point, I'm guessing about year 3 or 4, 30% of my business were referrals from current and or past clients. People that said, hey, Rick sold my house. You need to use him. Let me move this over here. And so, I mean, when I went out to take those listings, my conversion rate was pretty high. But let's just say we're going with the national average and you have a 5% conversion rate. So last year I did 50 deals, and those deals came from meeting 1,000 people. That's going to calculate to a 5% conversion rate. So if I know my conversion rate is for every 100 people that I get in front of, every 100 conversations or contacts that I make, that's going to translate to 5 deals. Then that tells me if I want to be at $200,000, I need to get 20 deals, and I need to get in front of 400 people. If I'm getting 5 out of 100, that's 400 contacts. Now it starts to narrow in. Now it starts to focus. Now you start to think, okay, hold on a second. $200,000, that's just unattainable. I did 0 last year. But as we start to break it down and say, yeah, you can do this, and you've got to put the work in. 400 people and gets me 100 each, gets me 5 deals. 400 gets me 20 deals. Now, I trust that your conversion rate is going to be higher than 5%. If you're working Zillow leads, if you're doing something like that, if you can get up to 7%, you're like a rock star. I mean, they've got a plaque with your face on it somewhere in the halls of Zillow corporate. If you're doing above 7%, their average is considerably less than that. But this is where, and that's where it gets exciting. So I know if I need to get in front of 400 people, let's break it down by the week. How many people am I going to get in front of this week? I can break it down by the day. Plug in a day or two for yourself. Plug in a day. I used to say the realtor's weekend for me was Tuesday or Thursday. Because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was out in the field. Monday, shoring up with the work that I had done over the weekend, and build in a little bit of time for you to do the things that really are important, your legacy things. And then what I'm going to send you is this little activity sheet, and I'm going to send it to your group there. And it just breaks it down by the week. You do the math, you know that you need to get in front of 400 people. You break that down by the week and by the day, and it is doable. You keep your head down. I was in combat. I think some others here were. If I raised my head up halfway and thought, what am I doing? Am I going to make it? Does this even make sense? No, I don't let those things even enter my mind. You just keep your head down and keep moving forward, and great things will happen. Okay, that's what I've got for you today. What questions do you have? Do you have any questions?
You better be sending me that link to that sheet, because the one you went through before this, that was gold right there.
Which one?
Oh, the actual the fill in
Business
the
planning
blank,
template?
the fill in the blank template.
Yeah, it is. It's the best one I found. It just so happens to be with the company I'm with now. And I've been looking for a long while for a really good one. So I expect that that'll be a real good tool for you. I'll send you that. I'll send you this commissions to deals. That's just old school realty right there, old school brokerage, where your broker comes in and tells you, hey, this is how you get to 200,000. This is how you get to 100,000. And good thing that your average sales prices are probably far greater than the average sales prices when I started. Those compensation greatly increased with fewer.
You know what? You know what makes me laugh about what you were talking about, breaking it down this far. Like, you're talking about, Brian Buffini, Buffini and all the names there and selling. And I was laughing because Buffini's always like, 2 touches, 2 leads, 2 calls a day. And I'm doing the math here, and it's like we run into 2 people before we get out of Starbucks or scrolling on social media, sending a private message. And it's like a $200,000 goal is very obtainable when you break it down to just talking or touching 2 people a day. And it's insane that we make this so difficult.
I've got 295 people in my contacts. Some of you have thousands.
I was like, that's it?
Right? I'm like, was that right too? I mean, what am I doing here? You got to be special. I had the COO of the company call me the other day, and I was talking. I said, well, who is this? We had a quick, brief couple of sentences. I said, who is this? She said, this is so-and-so. Oh, crap. I got to get better about putting people into my contacts, right? The COO calls or the brokerage operations, you answer that call. Absolutely. How many people do you have right here? Right? And that becomes pretty cool. I recommend that you reach out to people the same way that you normally do. Hey, send them a card. Send them this. Ninja is you write 2 cards every day, 2 handwritten notes every day. You want to see somebody tear up, send them a handwritten card. I had a broker that I sent it to. I said, man, you're going to do great things. He's a newer broker. I'm excited for you. This path is leading. And he texts back, or he texted a call, or whatever he did. And he said, hey man, where did you get that handwritten note? What system did you use? And I'm like, what do you mean? What system? He said, well, I mean, wasn't that like an app or something that you can write the handwritten and then they print it? And I said, no, dude, that was me. That was me and a pen coming at you. And they talk about how long that kind of sticks with you. I encourage you to incorporate into your plan. Your plan should include not just how many calls I'm going to make a day. It should include, as I said, things like systems. I'm going to learn a new system. I'm going to learn one a week. I'm going to go do research here in Texas. We have the Texas Real Estate Research Center. Not a lot of people know that that's there. And that's a huge resource. And you're leveled up straight to me when you're looking at the same numbers that I'm looking at. What else? Anybody, anything else? Okay. Um, I'm super happy to be here. I think a lot of these ladies that are leading this brokerage, Holly, I just met briefly the last day or two, a little bit of interaction, and I'm excited for where y'all are going. Y'all are catching fire, and it's a pretty cool thing to see from back here. So I appreciate you having me in today, and you let me know if there's anything I can do for y'all.
Rick, it was an absolute pleasure to have you and an honor. Thank you so much again for coming in and sharing your knowledge, training our agents. We just opened in Texas, so I think this is even better that we've got, Texas legend coming in and doing this. So I really appreciate your time once again. Thank you so much.
Anytime. We're all in this together, right? We have a brand to protect and promote, and that's the realtor brand.
Yep.
We're all in this. I tell agents, you set down the listing LA and selling New York. Don't get your ethics modeled from there. It's not about confrontation. It's about we're all in this together. And that brand that we have to protect, the realtor brand. So I'm excited.
Drama's not sexy.
What's that?
Drama's not sexy.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Yeah, absolutely not. All right, y'all. We'll see you. Take care.
Thank you
Rick.
so much.
Thanks. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Rick.
Bye.
I'll go ahead and close this out. When in doubt, reach out, messages if you need us. We are here for you. We all started this morning with a blank slate at 0. So go out and talk to a buyer, a seller, or an agent today. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.